Lakemont Park is one of the oldest amusement parks left in the United States, although that may not be the right way to describe this park anymore. For years, this park had financial difficulties operating as a traditional amusement park, so it was recently transformed into a family entertainment center that just happens to have some historic coasters. Was this a positive change though? Find out in this review of Lakemont Park. This park opened back in 1894, making Lakemont the 8th oldest amusement park in the United States. Located in Altoona, Pennsylvania, the owners have always tried to make the park a cheap place for families to have a day of fun. That philosophy has caused some financial troubles for the park though. Leap the Dips was closed from 1986 through 1998 due to structural issues and a lack of maintenance funds. Then the entire park closed after the 2016 season and remained closed until 2019. When the park reopened, it looked way different. Prior to the closure, Lakemont had over 2 dozen rides. When Lakemont reopened, all of the flat rides were removed. Now the park features just 8 rides in total. You have 3 roller coasters, a train, paddle boats, and some car rides. That's it. Replacing the lost rides are recreational and sports activities. One FEC staple that was added was batting cages. Then the park now features 2 different mini golf courses, one with themed obstacles, and another with more pro-style greens. Playgrounds were also added for kids. Then there are also volleyball and basketball courts open to the public, unless they're reserved for a private event or league use. The day I visited, most people at the park were there for a basketball league, so it seems like this addition is helping to bring people through the gate. Another thing that helps is the park's location adjacent to People's Natural Gas Field, which is the baseball stadium for the Altoona Curve minor league baseball team. It is absolutely surreal to see Skyliner poking above the right field wall, and yes, the coaster is allowed to operate while a game takes place. I know if I were a batter, I'd certainly be distracted. If you're a baseball fan, definitely look into seeing a game while you're there because tickets are just $10 to $17 as of 2022, and the backdrop of the coaster plus the Allegheny Mountains is really cool. Just be careful where you park on game day if you're frugal. The lots to the right of the main entrance to Lakemont Park will charge a small fee whenever the Curve have a game. The lots to the left of the main entrance are free even while a game is taking place. If you park in the paid lot, it looked like it was only about $5, so it's not too much. Lakemont has an unassuming entrance. It didn't feel like I was walking into an amusement park. It felt like I was walking into some sort of housing development. The park is free to enter. You then pay for the attractions, and it's still one of the most affordable parks out there. The coasters cost just $2 to $3 per ride, which is even cheaper than the coasters at Knoebels now. Alternatively, you can purchase a day pass for just $20 that includes unlimited rides on the coasters, plus things that are usually upcharges like the go-karts and paddle boats. And if you arrive after 5 p.m., you can usually save a few bucks with the evening ticket. Prior to visiting, definitely check the park hours. The park is typically open from April until mid-September, but the rides are not open every day. There are many days where the park is only open for walkers or the recreational activities. In peak season, the rides are open Thursday through Sunday. Then the rides tend to be weekend only in May and September. The other thing to watch out for is whether Leap the Dips and or Skyliner are down for maintenance. These 2 rides can be a bit spotty. For example, Skyliner was closed for the start of the 2022 season, and Leap the Dips' old construction methods makes it vulnerable to cross ties breaking. I strongly recommend visiting in the evening after calling the park earlier in the day to verify both wood coasters are operational. This park definitely has a weird feel to it. It is way more land than your typical FEC, so if you visit on a quiet weekday like I did, parts of the park will feel abandoned. There's just so much space for everyone. Especially because you have a bit of a walk between the attractions. Half the rides are over by Skyliner. The other rides are on the complete opposite side of the park, over by Leap the Dips. The water park is then on its own little island to the left of everything. The perimeter of the park has a lot of greenery, and the abundance of open pathways make it attractive to walkers. Then the new recreational activities look nice. However, the 2 wood coasters look a bit dated and dilapidated. Skyliner has this classic sign above the station, but the way it's lit makes it look like a remnant from the zombie apocalypse. Then the ride has some interesting profiling and chipped paint all over the place. and there were a few points where I'd return to the station and the maintenance guy would be fixing a lap bar in between runs. You would never see that at a larger park. There, the ride would undoubtedly be shut down while the repair took place, and then would be forced to cycle empty before retaking guests. Leap the Dips has a mismatch of painted and unpainted wood. This is deliberate though, so the park can tell which sections have been replaced, but it doesn't give the ride the clean, cohesive feel you typically get at other parks. But you're really riding history, so you can't really complain. The day I visited, both these rides were being operated by fellow coaster enthusiasts, and they loved those rides to death. The operator for Leap the Dips was particularly awesome, as he gave some history about the ride and explained how the experience can vary mightily ride to ride. The rides were total walk-ons when I visited on a Thursday. I was often the only person on the rides. I was even able to stay on Leap the Dips for a dozen straight rides at the end of the night, and the operator just kept on rolling my car right through the station. From what I've heard, ride lines are not an issue here even on weekends. Sometimes Park will hold up a train on dead days like this to minimize wear and tear in an attempt to wait for more customers, but Lakemont would dispatch the trains almost immediately. This is great for the customer. I was only at the park for about 2 hours, yet I got a combined 25 rides on the wood coasters, and this was even with Skyliners stopping in between runs to try to fix that darn lap bar. This is also one of the best parks for young kids. At most parks, wood coasters have a 48-inch height requirement. At Lakemont Park, you need to be just 36 inches tall to ride both Leap the Dips and Skyliner. But here's the funny part. You need to be at least 42 inches tall to ride the Little Leaper kiddie coaster. Yes, there's a world where a kid can experience the ejector airtime of the wood coasters, but they may be too small to ride the mild kiddie coaster. Due to time, I only experienced the wood coasters during my 2022 visit. I skipped all the recreational activities. I also skipped the water park because I believe it was closed for 2022. However, I sort of have experienced those slides in spirit because I heard from others they're clones of the ones I did at Connecticut's Ocean Beach Park. These are older slides and they're pretty mild, but these ones have a weird rectangular shaped trough, so you really don't slide up the walls. Instead, you sort of bang against them and keep on going down. Little Leaper was closed for maintenance during my visit. For years, Lakemont did not allow adults on their kiddie coaster, but now they're allowed if you want the credit, even if you don't have a kid with you. Now let's talk about the main event for coaster enthusiasts, those two Woodies. Leap the Dips is the world's oldest operating coaster, and it is a step back in time. You have absolutely no restraints, not even a seatbelt. This, combined with the ride's top speed of 10 miles per hour or 16 kilometers per hour, would make you think it's a really tame experience. But looks are deceiving. This ride has such a unique feel. This is a side friction coaster without any upstop wheels, so the cars are able, and they definitely do lift off the track at points, which is really freaky. Then you'll also feel the cars gallop around the corners as the track undulates up and down. I could not believe this, but there's a major difference whether you ride in the front or back of the car. The front offers a smoother and milder ride. Meanwhile, the back has some really big bumps, but you get some downright scary airtime pops. On some of those dips, you'll feel the train paddleboard you into the air repeatedly. I have an entire review talking more about this one-of-a-kind coaster, but this needs to be on every coaster enthusiast's bucket list. Skyliner is a John Allen-designed PTC wood coaster, and this is basically turn around the ride. Skyliner has just buzz bars and super loose seatbelts, so there are two moments with shockingly good airtime. The first turnaround has incredible ejector airtime up front. Then the first drop tries to send those in the back car into orbit. However, your body will pay a price in that seat. The pullout from the first drop is one of the most jarring moments of any coaster, and it is extremely uncomfortable in a wheel seat. Don't say I didn't warn you. The rest of the coaster's valleys have some shake, but those aren't too bad. This is another ride I have a review for if you want to learn more. The most popular ride was definitely the go-karts, probably because it's rare to have them included with an unlimited wristband. Then the other rides had zero activity during my visit. I get why this park made the transformation to an FEC. When I visited the park a decade and a half ago for the first time when it was an amusement park, barely anyone was there. I do miss some of the rare flat rides though, most notably the old Chance Skydiver. I do not miss the old Chance Toboggan Coaster though. That ride was a concussion waiting to happen, so good riddance to that one. So do I recommend Lakemont Park? I think this is a must for coaster enthusiasts because of Leap the Dips. Who doesn't want to ride the world's oldest coaster? It is an experience you cannot get elsewhere. Then Skyliner has its moments too. I do not think this is a full-day park, not in the slightest, but I think it's very fairly priced basically to ride a piece of history. 1 to 2 hours is more than enough time to hit the rides, and add in some extra time if you want to try the mini golf. Then you can make a day of it if you pair it with an Altoona curved baseball game. I really hope this park's new model allows it to thrive. There have been some scares that both Leap the Dips and this park be lost forever, and I hope Lakemont's transformation allows it to operate for decades to come. This park is such a unique vibe. So those are my thoughts on Lakemont Park, the Altoona, Pennsylvania FEC that happens to have some historic roller coasters. What are your thoughts on this amusement park turning into an FEC? Let me know down below. If you enjoyed this review, I'd appreciate it if you gave this video a like, and you considered subscribing, because there'll be a lot more roller coaster and amusement park videos here at Canopy Coaster. Thanks for watching.